A reading from Wild Mercy. Here, come here. Take a moment to set aside that list you've been writing in fluorescent ink. The list that converts tasks into emergencies. Items like feed the orchids become, if I don't accomplish this by 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, the rainforests are going to dry up and it's going to be all my fault. Or if I fail to renew my automobile insurance, I will probably crash my car and everyone will die. Or this friend just had her breast biopsied and that friend's brother-in-law beat up her sister. And my friend just lost her job with the symphony, and my nephew is contemplating divorce, and I must call them all and listen to them for an hour each and dispense redemptive advice. Gather your burdens in a basket in your heart. Say, take this, great mama, because I cannot carry all this shit for another minute. And then crawl into her broad lap and nestle against her ample bosom and take a nap. When you wake, the basket will still be there, but half its contents will be gone, and the other half will have resumed their ordinary shapes and sizes, no longer masquerading as catastrophic, epic, chronic, and toxic. The mother will clear things out and tidy up. She will take your compulsions and transmute them, but only if you freely offer them to her. That's from the opening of the chapter on Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat being simply the Hebrew word for Sabbath. And I would love to talk to you a little bit about cultivating a Sabbath practice right now. If I were to leave you with one thing this weekend that you could slip into your pocket and take with you, I would hope that it would be either an intention, kavanah in Hebrew, to cultivate an orientation in your life towards some kind of observance of a Sabbath. It doesn't have to fit into the shape that Rami and I introduced last night or that I'm going to speak about now. In other words, it doesn't have to be when the sun sets on Friday till it sets on Saturday again, which is the Jewish tradition. And it doesn't have to be a day a week. It could be a day a month or a weekend a month. It can be something you do in the privacy of your own life, or you could make a commitment to do some kind of retreat, a meditation retreat, an art retreat, something like that on a regular basis. But there's something about intentionally cultivating that yes, that offering of the burdens on your heart and laying them down, that just puts everything back into perspective. You know, that sense of what sets our nervous system into fight or flight is often not nearly as catastrophic as we think it is, right? We all know this. Like when I got a call to Randy thinking I was sauntering over here in plenty of time to set up for the morning, and he's like, where are you? I went into fight or flight or freeze, and it was like the world was ending because I got the times mixed up. And our nervous systems, I don't know about yours, but mine is definitely geared to that impulse. And by virtue of simply making space for the holiness of rest, For when Rami spoke last night, which Abraham Joshua Heschel, the great 20th century Jewish philosopher, social activist, said so beautifully, the Sabbath is about just a minute to not try to bend the world to our own will, to shape things to our notions of the way they're supposed to be, but instead to yield and soften and be. I love the theme that Randy was able to glean from all our work, that is the work of the three people who happen to be serving as teachers on this retreat. Wild surrender. Surrender is not passive. It's not some kind of giving up or giving in or giving away of our power. There is something incredibly powerful about intentionally laying it down and resting and allowing, right? That's powerful. And it's countercultural, and it is subversive. And it's feminine. The Shabbat in the Jewish tradition is a woman. And one of her names is Shekhinah, the indwelling feminine presence of the divine. So from the absolute undifferentiated ground of being bubbles up or pours in this embodied presence of the holy. And where does she live? In every one of us, in every cell of our bodies. In Judaism, you cannot know the unknowable God except through each other. That's the only way we get to know and love and honor the holy, is in community and in our connection to the earth itself, herself. Shabbat is a time to remember our belongingness to that web of interbeing.